Hey guys, welcome to another recap of The Amazing Race. Last week, unfortunately, Andi and Jenna were eliminated. That was the mother and daughter who just met. Alright, so they were in Ghana and they are staying in Ghana this week. The first clue says to go to Jamestown, the boxing academy, to get your next clue. And it just so happens it's a roadblock for one. Alright, so in Ghana, and I guess probably most of Africa maybe, I don't know. Soccer is the most popular sport, and boxing is the second. So in this challenge, one person has to learn how to wrap their hands the right way, do a speed bag, and then jump rope, I think, for like 60 seconds straight to get the next clue. Jonathan and Connor, they were really popular with that cab driver because they were doing a little a cappella harmony for him, and he loved it. He must be a show tunes guy. All right, so the doctors, they were getting on my nerves because they kept telling their cab driver to turn around, and they were like tapping on his shoulder, and it looked like they were on a one-way street. He probably couldn't just like turn around and start going the other way. They seemed to be a little out of touch at times. So after that, you had to take a taxi to the supply depot. And when you got to the supply depot, you had to get 2 wheelbarrows, load them up with specific supplies, and then you had to take it over to the school. Brooke and Claire and Kevin and Michael, they did not read the clue, and they only brought 1 wheelbarrow, and they had to go back and get the other one. Alright, so, which, it was like 98 degrees that day, so just to go back and back and back, that's a lot of extra work to be doing when it's 98 degrees, so it really takes a toll on you after a while. Rachel and Katie, it's 2 trowels, and Nick and Vicky, it's 1 bag of cement. And Nick, I'm gonna have to call a total doucher on this one because he started getting really pissed off at Vicky. Getting a little verbal abuse going, wasn't pretty. Alright, so at the African classroom, they went to a geography lesson and they had to show on the map where Ghana was. Alright, kudos to Gary and Kevin because they got it right away on the first try. Or at least that's what the editing looked like. And a lot of the other people didn't, especially Nick and Vicky. They said they were the stupidest people in the world. I'm going to have to up the ante and say they're probably the stupidest people in the entire universe. Alright, so the next clue was a detour, bicycle parts, or language arts. Alright, so in bicycle parts, you had to roll a bike rim down a soccer field and back without letting the hoop fall. Language arts, you had to choose this little scroll with a proverb on it with highlighted words, and the highlighted words corresponded to a decoder where it was like these hieroglyphics, and then you had to go to the word search, word meaning hieroglyphic search, and find the ones that were in the right sequence. That was really hard. A lot of people chose that language arts one first, and then they switched back to the bike parts. The bike parts was pretty demanding too. I mean, it's kind of hard to roll that bike rim across the field because it's not like rolling it on the street where it's all smooth. I mean, it was like, bumpy-ish. So one genius, I can't remember who it was, decided that they were going to do the language arts one, and they didn't understand why they gave them the stick with the chalk on the end, and they started drawing circles around the children who were playing. It was really weird. And then like the other teams saw them doing that, and they decided that they should do it too, not even knowing what it meant. Monkey see, monkey do. And some guy was like, where's the decoder key? What's the decoder key? I think sometimes that the people on this show get stupider and stupider as time goes on. One guy actually went through the kids' stuff and was looking for the decoder key. It was a little kid's homework, and I'm pretty sure he threw it on the floor afterwards. I really hate being the ugly Americans. And Nick, he continued to be a jerk because they chose the hoops and he got so frustrated that he threw his hoop. And that's not how you should be acting in another country in front of children. That's pretty All right, so Michael and one of the doctors, they were total inchworms. They had their stick and they were moving their hoops inch by inch. That's pretty desperate. And Michael, he actually got dehydrated and I felt so bad because I really feel like Michael is a genuinely good person. I've never heard him like talking any smack like the whole time that I've been watching him on YouTube and everything. So, and besides, I think I got a little sense for people because, you know, I talk about him all the time. I felt really bad, and he felt really bad that he was letting Kevin down, and Kevin was just like, it's okay, Dad. And if I were ever to go on The Amazing Race with Maddie, I feel like I would be like Michael, and I would just be so apologetic to Maddie because I know that I could not keep up with the other teams physically, so that's probably why we haven't applied for The Amazing Race. All right, so the pit stop for this leg of the race is the home of Awusu Ntso. I know I just massacred that to heck. All right, so coming in first were Connor and Jonathan. They won $5,000 each in cold hard cash. That was awesome. That's a great prize for them to win. I guess it really pays to sing to your cab driver. Good job, Samson. All right, so Gary and Mallory came in second, followed by Chad and Stephanie, Katie and Rachel, Nick and Vicky, and Brooke and Claire, followed by Jill and Thomas. So the last two teams to arrive were Nat and Kat and Kevin and Michael. Now, Nat and Kat, they got lost finding the pit stop, so they created the old drama in the edit where they made it seem like it was going to be close, but it wasn't actually close. And Kevin and Michael, they were all prepared to be eliminated. And I was hoping and hoping and hoping it was going to be a non-elimination. And it was approved. So, yeah, they have to do a speed bump next time. But at least they're still in the race. The good news is that the Amazing Race, the day after, is going to be going back to the classrooms and remodeling them, you know, with the couples. So I think that's great. I mean, I think that's really a no-brainer. I don't know why they haven't done this before, or maybe they have, and they had like the crew for the show do it and not the people on the show. But why not have the racers actually do it? I think that's a great idea, since they're the ones that are going to benefit from winning or not winning the money. You know, I'm sure they still get some sort of a stipend just for being on the show. So next time they're going to be in the Arctic. And Michael's happy about that because he's going to have a good time. And yay, dog sledding. Those dogs love pulling that sled. That's what they were meant to do. All right, so kids, until next time, much love.